Thank you. Respected Chair and all dignitaries inside this room. I'm going to share in this forum a study that I did during my master thesis work in one of the rural BDC of Nepal. It's called Jumla BDC. So the title of this thesis was Factor Affecting Nutritional Status of 6 to 59 months children. I'm going to talk more about undernutrition. Malnutrition includes two things, overnutrition and undernutrition, but this study focused on undernutrition only. So I know that most of you are aware of this nutrition causal framework. This framework says like there are main two regions of undernutrition. One is lower intake of nutrient, and another one is lower absorption of nutrient in your body. So this lower absorption causes with several diseases like diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, and those things. So based on this framework, I designed this study. The rationale for this study is like Jumla, it has been known about as a rural area of Nepal, and where like there are prevalence of nutrition is high in this area. And if we compare to like Nepal itself, there are approximately 15% children are undernourished, and out of which 51% are stunted, and 29% are underweight, and 11% were like wasting. So in case of Jumla, there are more than 60%. The prevalence of undernutrition is more than 60%. So apart from this, these facts, there was one CZ, Chaudhary Group's Nepal Social Business. They were like supposed to establish one factory which produced superfloor at local level. So they funded me to do this research, and I did this research for them as well. So objective was like major four objectives. The major objective was to identify the factors. What are the factors which are causing the undernutrition of those under 5 children? So this is the study area, and Jumla is renowned for the apple, walnuts, and the barley. So if we compare to the nutrients, there are sufficient products to provide the nutrients to the children. So methodology. To talk about the methodology, study design was like non-experimental cross-sectional descriptive study. The study population I chose is 6 to 59 months children's mother, because mothers are the caretaker of those children. And sample size was 100. There are approximately 110 mothers who have children under 5, but I didn't find rest 6 mothers because of their busy schedule, so I just include 100 of them. Then the data collection process was both quantitative and qualitative. I did the face-to-face interview, observation, and 24-hour dietary recall was observed, and focus group discussion. Along with this, I measured the anthropometric measurement of those under 5 children to know their nutritional status. So major findings, to talk about mothers of those area, like those 100 mothers, majority of them fall under the 25 years of old, and 49% are only literate, and 51% were illiterate. So among those literate, only 24% mother can just read and write. So, but this study shows that there was no any relation between educational status of mother and nutritional status of the children. So to talk about the children, among those among those under 5 children, most of the mother have 1 children. However, 36% had 2 under 5 children, and 5% has 3 under 5 children. Then majority of the, like 55% were male among those children, 55% were male, and 45% were female. And the majority of children will fall under the 13 to 36 months of their age. Then 92% of the children were born with the healthy weight. That means they born with the right weight. But if at that time I measured their anthropometric measurement, including height, weight, and the MUAC, mid-upper arm circumference, based on that, like only 49% were normal. Based on the MUAC tape, only 49% were normal. However, 16% were severely malnourished, that is acute malnutrition. And if we compare to the weight for age, like only 33% were like normal. But if we see the initial figure, 92% were born with the normal weight. Then if we see height for age, majority of them were stunted, severely stunted, 47% were severely stunted. Then another factor I see, I went through was disease and illness. So 55% children were suffered with any kind of diseases during within a 3 months period of that study taken. So as per those that study, majority of the people, that means 25% were suffered with diarrhea and followed it by other waterborne diseases. That means the water they were drinking was unsafe, and because of that water they were causing these diseases, and these diseases didn't give chance to absorb those nutrients. That's why they were undernourished. And if we see the feeding practices, majority of the mothers, that means 78% of mothers used to feed them leftover rice and curry. That means even their food hygiene was not good. So I also did the dietary assessment of those children through the 24-hour dietary recall. That shows that even what they are getting, the nutrients is also not sufficient. As if we go through the recommended dietary allowance, as per their age, they are not getting sufficient nutrient. However, they are just eating to to fill their stomach. So wash-related practices. I also observed and asked the wash-related practices with mothers, and only 37% of mothers used to treat their water. That's why 63% were not treating water. That's why there is the high prevalence of diseases and the malnutrition. So this toilet, there are only 7% household don't have toilet. However, this study shows that there is no relations between toilet and the undernutrition of nutritional status of our under 5 children. However, the relation between treatment of water and undernutrition is high. So there was another correlation I went through. So female children were more prone to undernutrition, both acute and chronic, both stunting and wasted. So female were more prone. And another one is age. If we see the age, mostly if we go through the 6 to 12 months and 13 to 36 months, for acute malnutrition, they are more prone. Lesser the age is, higher the chance to get acute malnutrition. But if we go through the stunting, along with the increasing age, there is a risk factor of increasing stunting. That means for chronic malnutrition, more people are more prone who are closer to the 5 years of old. But in case of acute, it's closer to the less in between 6 to 12 months. Another one is illness and child and nutritional status. It's directly very significant relation has been seen. So those who are suffered with any kind of diseases, they are prone to malnutrition. So conclusion, there is no relationship between age and educational level of mother or nutritional status of children. Female children are more prone to malnutrition as compared to male. The children of 6 to 12 months were more vulnerable for acute malnutrition, followed it by 13 to 16 months, and others are for stunting. It was above 36 months. And there is highly significant correlation between illness and children of status of malnutrition of children. So recommendation, what I found at that time is there were lots of organizations who is distributing superfloor to those malnourished children. But it is necessary to organize a nutrition-related orientation along with wash behavior change instead of just supplying those materials. And it is recommended that at least give some time to care the children, because their mothers were super busy in their own household chore, and they didn't give any time to their children to take care of them. And even they didn't share the responsibility with male members in their family to take care of the children. And another recommendation is different organizations working on nutrition, including government agency, need to focus on creating entrepreneurship instead of just providing other ready-made food. So if they produce the entrepreneurship and all the behavior change related, it will be more good. So in this forum, I would like to acknowledge CG and SB because they give me fund to do this study, and Department of Home Science, my university. and all the community from those BDC and district and ACF who give me chance to come here and present my thesis work. So in this forum, I would like to say, like, if we want smart population in our, like, even in growing India or even in growing nation, we need to give them safe water. Thank you.